Hi everyone, welcome guys to the AMAS Ask Me Any US Stocks live session. I think some of you have joined us today. Welcome. Just type a one guys in the chat, or just type GM for good morning. All right, if you can see, you can hear us loud and clear. You can also see my screen. We are now live on YouTube as well as on Facebook. All right, just let us know if you guys can see and hear us. Just type a good morning, type a one in chat. Let me see. Hi, we have Rainy, hi. Andy, I'm joining. Welcome. Good to see you here. Gary as well. Good morning. Good morning. Catherine as well. Good morning. Awesome. Mike, GM. Good morning. Andy, nice. Okay, very good. So it seems like this is working, guys. Maggie, hi. Good to see you here as well. A lot of familiar faces. We have Chi Sing joining us again. Chi Sing, I'm seeing you every Friday. Thank you so much for support, Chi Sing. All right, hope you get more value from today as well. Hi, Chi Leong. Geraldine, hi. Good to see you here as well. Hi, Doris. Hi, Licho, good to see you here. Awesome, guys. Welcome to the Ask Me Any Stocks session. And today we'll be talking about the US market. We're talking about the US market. So I think the market started to see a bit of a weakness over the past few days. We'll dive into that. Of course, we'll look at the markets. All right, do a quick market outlook. What has happened to the market? The key levels for the Dow Jones and even the S&P 500 index. And after that, we'll go ahead to dive into the stocks that you guys are asking about. So today will be for the US market. So if you've been following us, on this Friday weekly AMAS sessions, right? We do it alternate, all right? So today is the US market. Last Friday was Singapore stocks. Next Friday, we'll be back to Singapore again, right? So today will be the US market. So later you can type in the names of the US stocks you want it covered, right? And give us a little bit of an context, like, are you looking to buy, or maybe you're holding on to it, you have no idea what to do, to sell, to hold, all right? Or what price do you buy, that kind of thing, so that at least we when we give a bit of an opinion, we have a better context, so we have no idea you're thinking about buying or selling, right? Okay, so very good. And what happens is that at the end, right, guys, me and my team, Bervyn and Zee will be over here. Later, they'll come and say hello to you guys. But at the end, right, each of us will share with you one bonus stock that we like. So 3 of us here, so there'll be 3 bonus US stock that will be shared with all of you, right? So first thing first, can you do us a favor? Go ahead to help us to like and to share, right? Help us to like and share. Just give us some heart shape and click the share button. Of course, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, all right, whether it's on Facebook, on YouTube, go ahead, guys, to hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button, so that when we go live in the future, you will be alerted as well, right? So go to do that, all right? Hit the like button, the subscribe button. I think there should be a button at the top, all right? Click on it, subscribe, so that when we go live, you will be alerted. All right, okay, so very good. So let me go ahead to just move on right now and introduce to you my team, right? So for those of you who have not seen me before, my name is Choy, all right, top tier MyZero trader, Philips Securities. I've been doing this for more than 10 years now. I also conduct some trainings to teach people a little bit of my strategy. I call it the one good trend strategy, all right? And if you want to find a bit more, you can attend one of those free webinars, all right, whereby I share a bit more on like the strategy that I have, how we have an indicator, or later maybe we'll take a look at it as well for your stocks, and how we have this indicator to guide us on when to get in and when to get out, all right? And how do we actually filter out the top 1% of stocks, all right, before even thinking about getting in and out on them. Does it make sense? So you can find more, attend one of those free webinars. The link will be right in the chat. All right. Today, I don't have time to cover the whole strategy and stuff, right, guys? No time for that. We'll be pretty much an AMAS, Ask Me Any Stock session. You tell us your stock. We go through your stock, pump, one by one. Done. That's it. Very simple, all right? Not sharing with you the whole strategy, all right? Okay, so to do that, attend one of those free webinars. The link is in the chat, all right? The link is in the chat. Okay, so very good. Let me go ahead to introduce my team who is with me today, all right? And we have Bervyn right over here. And Bervyn has been with me as a top broker in Philips Securities under me more than 4 to 5 years now. And he has been conducting what we call our Ask Me Any sessions. You guys may have seen him every Friday as well, conducting our group coaching sessions, assisting our team's portfolio manager as well. And Bervyn is also what we call a CFA chartered holder, all right? So those of you who are in the financial industry, I think you know what CFA means, right? It's probably one of the highest qualification one can ever get, and that is not just specialized in technical, but also fundamentals. All right. So maybe Bervyn just say a few words today. Go ahead.
Thanks, Joey, for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another of our AMAS session. Today, we're covering the US stocks. Very happy to see a lot of those familiar faces, familiar names joining us every Friday. Hope that we can continue to give you value. I'm sure you are here because we are able to give you some value, some insight, some of our own opinions on the stocks that you're currently holding, thinking of buying, and so on and so forth. All right, so hope you're going to continue joining us, and also please help us to like, share, and of course subscribe so you'll receive notifications whenever we go live every Friday. All right, thanks.
All right, thank you so much, Bervyn. All right, so let me introduce you guys another of my team member. All right, one of my mentors as well, Zee. All right, Zee has been with me for more than 4 to 5 years now. One of the top brokers under me in Philip Securities, advising our clients, conducting our group coaching session as well, assisting our team's portfolio manager as well. And Zee is also what we call a chartered market technician. In short, CMT. If you're talking about technical analysis, anything to do with charting, technical analysis, candlestick patterns, whatever, Zee is the expert, all right, even more qualified than me in terms of this certificate, all right, whereby it's only given to the top, people who are, pretty much an expert in technical analysis, right? So Zee, maybe just say a few words today.
All right, thanks Joey for the introduction. Hi everyone, my name is Zee. So as Joey mentioned, I actually gotten my chartered for market technician last year. And my goal actually, if you have been with us for the past couple of sessions, right? Like I've mentioned always, my goal is always to break things down as simple as possible. So later, moving forward, we will try to cover as many stocks as possible with the 1GT Pro indicator, which you can see how simple it is with just the indicator, right? You can actually gives you an opinion on whether to buy or to sell, where's the support, where's the resistance, and things like that. Because I don't think that, trading, you have to make it very complicated for yourself because life is really hard enough, right? So why do you make trading even harder for yourself, right? So that's a quick one about me. I'll pass the time back to Joey to actually kick off today's session.
Well said, G. I think that really states the point, right? I mean, trading is really very complicated, a lot of emotions, a lot of thinking, see how, and all kind of thing, right? We don't want to make it more complicated. We want to get the emotions out of the way, all right? And that's how having an indicator, all right, a tool, can help you just to be a little bit more systematic, all right? So that's exactly what we'll cover today as well, all right? And let's go ahead to get started, right? Okay, so very simple, guys. Whatever that's covered today, like the standard disclaimer that we have to share when we do these live sessions, right? Everything that's shared today is just for information purpose only, right? So please do your own due diligence, all right? It's not to ask you to buy or sell, or maybe not to buy or not to sell, all right? Please do your own homework, your own due diligence, and you have to make an informed decision. But we still hope that you get value, out of this entire session, just to give you guys a bit of an idea of, opinion on what you can do. All right. Okay. So let's go to get started right now. And let me go ahead to talk about the markets. How many of you want me to cover the markets? Just type of MM for markets, guys. If you want me to go ahead to cover what we call the markets, type M for markets, M for markets. Okay, let's see. I think we have some of you are already typing the name of the stocks, right? Hi, Rainy, asking about AVGO, all right? Let's see now. Okay, very good. Not to worry, guys. Yeah, I mean, if you want, you can go ahead to type the name of the stocks as well. All right, me and my team will go through it one by one. We'll put a star there, and then we'll try to go through all the US stocks. But let me know if you guys want me to just cover the markets very quickly. We maybe talk about the Dow Jones right now. All right, and then we will look at maybe the S&P 500 index, right? So M, all right, so very quickly, let me just go to cover the markets right now. I think some of you are typing like M, Trump tariffs affected the US market lately, and we see weakness. What's your take on the coming weeks? Okay, so basically, what's my take on the markets, right? Very good. Let me go to cover this question, right? So right now, this is the Dow Jones. You can see for the Dow Jones, I mean, if you have been following us over the past few months, I mentioned that the US market has been in a longer term uptrend, all right, since last year, since 2023, all right, in fact, since 2 years back, right, just by looking at the red line, 100 days moving average is going up, the blue line is pointing up, 100 days above the 200 days, red above the blue, both pointing up. So we have been in a longer term uptrend, I would say, since 2023. You can see that we have formed what we call higher lows as we are making our way up. So longer term uptrend has been intact since 2 years back. All right. But of course, longer term is long term, right? The short term, can we see weakness? The answer is yes. I mean, look at it. This was in August, right? 2023 came down. We came down here as well. We came down here in July, right? We came down just in December as well. Does it make sense? So we can see some short term weakness, even though the longer term trend is up, right? And that's how it works, right? It cannot just go up every single day, right? So it's good to see a bit of consolidation, a bit of a pullback, but buyers comes back in, they push prices even higher, it consolidates even higher, and that's a good thing about the markets, right? So we can see some short-term weakness along the way. So let's take a look at what is happening right now. You can see that this is the Dow Jones, and if I can quickly draw this resistance, the horizontal resistance level, look at this number. I think I talked about this level, right? The 45,000. In fact, in like December, November, we were right over here. As we began January, we were right over here again, right? 2 times. I don't know whether we'll come here again, but this 45,000 is pretty much the key resistance level for the Dow Jones, right? If we were to stay below it, all right, whether 44,900 or 800 or 700 or near it, right? That is where some selling can come back, like what we are seeing again, all right? As you can see, right? So we touched over here, we sold back down, all right? I'm not saying that now we will like from here we like selling back down again, but you can see that there could be a possibility, right? We might start to trade in this range, up, down, and up and down. You know what I mean? So that could be the range right now, because you can see that there are 2 confirmations whereby we are indeed pushing away from this resistance level. So this 45,000, you can see, right? We touched 2 times, and over the past week, you can see that this 20 days moving average. So the longer term trend is up. Nothing wrong with that, right? That's okay, right? But the short-term trend, you see, it was down, right? Because we sold down in December, remember? Down. Look at the green line, the 20 days moving average. And it started to move up in January. And now the green line, you can see, is pointing down again. Does it make sense? So you can see that the short-term trend has turned down. Is this normal? Yes, it's normal. I mean, I say, right? We can, in short-term, we can turn down as and when, right? Could be 1 month, could be 2 weeks, could be 2 months. That's how it works. But right now, if you ask me, well, the short-term trend has turned down. So we are kind of like making our way back down. Where could the potential bargain hunting grounds be? Well, I would say this is potentially the support level right over here, around that 42,000. Why? Look at this, right? Somewhere in like September, we were here, rebounded. Somewhere in October, November, rebounded. Somewhere in January, rebounded. Does it make sense? Right? So that is, I'm not saying that you will definitely go there for you to buy and then you'll rebound, but the point here is that based on that support level, right, it coincides with where you have rebounded many times over the past 4 to 5 months, right? And if you look at another thing, you can see that it also coincides with where the longer term moving average is, right? This 200 days moving average, the blue line is right over here as well, right around the 42,000. You see, right? When we neared previously, when we neared the blue line or the red line right over here, we saw a rebound, right? Same thing over here. We saw it pull back to the longer term moving averages, rebound right over here, rebound. Does it make sense? So it kind of like gives a little bit of a another confirmation that could be what we call a potential support level, maybe about near 42 to 42,000 plus, or maybe even 43, right? That could be where some bargain hunting can come back in the market. So this is the Dow Jones. So if I can quickly just turn on what we call the 1GT Pro indicator. So essentially, right, as I say, you got to find a bit more on the entire strategy and stuff, guys. Attend one of those free webinars, all right? That's where we explain a bit more on the indicator and stuff. But based on this indicator that I have, right, on any stocks, any asset classes, on the indices, the Dow Jones, the S&P, gold, crypto, or whatever, right, you get an opinion in seconds, right, based on the bullish or bearish signals that you see. So let me just take on, let's on it. Let's take a look. So you can see right now that, for Dow Jones, okay, let me just remove all the drawings so it's a bit not so messy. Okay, you can see, look at this, right? So we have some bullish and bearish signal, and this is the Dow Jones, the same, Dow Jones that I've analyzed, right? So we got some bullish signal in August, a bit of signal came down, push up again, bearish signal came back down, somewhere in January went up. And let's take a look at this. You can see that right now, if you can see, right, in fact, we have a bearish signal coming out over the past few days, right? And the green 20 days moving average line is pointing down. So I mentioned, right, we could potentially see a little bit of a weakness, right, towards the 42,000, because now we got another confirmation, right? The resistance is there, the green line points down, plus we got a bearish signal. I think we might see a bit of weakness, right? So I think like who is asking like, hey, what's the outlook? Well, I would say that in the short term, unfortunately, we are indeed seeing some signs of a pullback, a bit of a retracement. Hopefully, we might get to some of those more attractive support levels for the market, like the 42,000, and that is where I think if we can stay above 42,000, we stabilize. We get some bullish candles coming out, bargain hunting coming out. We hopefully can start to see that reversal, like what we have seen previously over the past 3 to 4 months. So this is downtrend. And let me just go into cover like what has happened. I mean, why are we seeing weakness, right? I mean, you know, the fact that we push away from the 45,000 and stuff. What is the reason? I think all of you have been following the news, you know, right? I mean, we have Donald Trump coming out and, you know, just last month saying that he want to impose tariffs on like Canada, Mexico, China. And I think today he mentioned as well that he's going to go through, by right, there'll be like a 1 month moratorium, a break, right? A pause of the tariffs. But he mentioned on the 4th of March, all right? 4th of March, yep. It will go through. He'll be like imposing like a 10%, sorry, I think like a 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada. That will take effect on the 4th of March next week. All right, so that is kind of like, I mean, not a good thing because, you know, there could be retaliatory action. In fact, some other countries are taking retaliatory action as well, imposing their own tariffs. China as well. All right, I think he's imposing tariffs on like 10% of tariffs on China as well. All right, so it's not a good thing. It could create what we call a trade war, all right? And that's one of the reasons, right, that has been happening since last month. Of course, recently as well, we have what we call the issues on these geopolitical tensions, right? So, you know, there's kind of like a change of US foreign policy. Donald Trump has reached out to like Russian's President Vladimir Putin, all right? And to see, you know, yeah, if they could, you know, kind of reach a deal to end the war between Russia and Ukraine, all right? So I think they're also kind of like working on like, you know, with Ukraine to come out with a minerals deal, right? To see if Ukraine could offer, I mean, to see the US could offer some security guarantees, right, to Ukraine, right? If, you know, they could work something out whereby Ukraine will, you know, give US its rare earth minerals, right, for its technology and all that, right? So they're still working out. So there's a lot of, I would say, uncertainty in terms of the political, you know, scene as well regarding like Russia, Ukraine, US, China, all right? And that is causing a little bit of weakness in the market on top of the tariffs. Does it make sense? All right, so that is pretty much what I think. All right, right now I would say that a bit of weakness in the short term, right? We might pull back a little bit. Could be a good opportunity as well, maybe to get in if you're to get into some of those pretty good support level. All right, so this is the Dow Jones. Maybe let's take a look at the S&P, all right, 500 index very quickly, right? Let's go ahead and see this right away. Okay, so this is the S&P 500 index. So look at this, right? I think it looks pretty much similar to Dow Jones, right? Of course, the resistance level is different. We could have this level, maybe it used to be about 6,001, but let's just put up 6,150. All right, I think that would be kind of like the key resistance level for now. We just couldn't get above this level, I would say, over the past 1 month. All right, we got a bullish signal. It went up a bit. I mean, we have a couple of bullish signals coming out since like, you know, 1-2 years ago. Look at this, right? A bullish signal, pump, another bullish signal, it reverses up, another bullish signal, it reverses up. Or of course, if you have bearish signals, then not so good. Like, you know, it starts coming down and down. So when we have a bearish signal, when we see the short-term trend turn down, all right, then, you know, do we want to just rush and get in? Does it make sense? I mean, that's a question, right? So the answer is that no, we want to probably wait for a reversal, a clear sign of a reversal, right, in the market in the short term. So longer term can be up, right? But we also want to think about waiting for the short term to turn up, right? To turn back up. Does it make sense? And maybe we get another bullish signal, all right? That would be another confirmation that we are seeing the reversal move. You guys following so far? All right, so that's what we're going to look out for. So if you can take a look at the S&P 500, yeah, are we seeing a bearish signal? Yes, right, a bearish signal came out, and something like the Dow Jones, you can see the green 20 days moving average line that was like, you know, going up in January, and now also started to come back down a bit. Does it make sense? Right, so yeah, definitely a bit of a weakness in the short term, but to where? Let's go to find out. I think we could see maybe a bit of a bargain hunting anywhere from, I mean, this is what we have been holding, right over here since like October, November, anywhere near this 5,000, right away. Look at this, right? 5,000 to 5,800, right? 5,700 to 5,800. I'm just saying, I think you get a point, right? Somewhere over here, look at this, right? That's where we have seen a couple of rebounds. All right, now it's 5,861, right? So I'm not too sure exactly where you'll go, but somewhere along this zone, that's where we have rebounded a couple of times. All right, and if you look at it again, you can see that it also coincides with where the longer term moving averages are, the 200 days moving average. Now, something like this, look at this, right? We neared the 200 days moving average. That was in August, right? We neared it and pump, you know, we rebound. So this longer term moving average acts something like a dynamic support level, all right? I mean, it's just another confirmation. If you hit over there, that could be where some good, you know, heavy bargain hunting can come back. And if you to hold above that 5,700 to 5,800, well, I would say that the longer term uptrend still remains intact. Yeah, short term, you might see a bit of weakness, right? As I say, right? But the longer term uptrend still looks intact as long as we stay above that 5,700 to 5,800. All right, so that is pretty much the markets right now. So how many of you got a better understanding right now of the markets? all right, and you're a bit clearer, just type C for clear, guys. If you guys are a little bit clearer right now on the markets, the key levels, Dow Jones and the S&P 500 index, let me know. All right, let's see. C. Thank you so much, Catherine. And what you want to do right now, guys, is that you want to go ahead to hit the like and subscribe button, all right, and show me some love, right? Show me some love. I know we have a lot of questions, a lot of people typing in the stocks already, right? Palantir, Alibaba, MSTR. Wow, so many of them while I'm talking, right? So not to worry, guys. I'm going to go through quickly. I'm going to go through one by one, right? Hit the like and share button first. Maybe we'll give you a bit of priority, all right? And as I say, right, if you kind of like give us a bit of context on the stock that you're asking about, like, I mean, not just put like Nvidia, but or put Alibaba, but more like, hey, Alibaba, I'm looking to buy at this price, or, you know, I pulled it since last year, or I don't know what to do. A bit of context, so we know, you know, like you know, we can help you a bit more. But if it's just like Tesla, then yeah, what about Tesla? I mean, what do you want to know about him? Right? So give us a bit of context, and then maybe we can help you a bit better. Does it make sense? All right, so that's what we could do. All right, so very simple. I'll just go and choose one stock first. All right, then take turns. I'll pass on the mic to Bervyn. All right, we'll go ahead to cover the next US stock, and then Z will come on to take a look at the next US stock. Let me just do it round by round. So me, Bervyn, Z, we'll just go on and on. We'll try to cover at least 20 US stocks. All right, we'll try our best, guys. My apologies if we cannot cover all of them. All right, our apologies, because to be honest, each time there's 50 or 60 over US stocks, right? We do our best. Right? So hopefully we'll cover the one that you're asking about. Okay, let me go ahead to look at the chat right now and see, all right, what is some of the stock that you guys are asking about. Right? Let me just see. Okay, Baba, Alfred. We are talking about Alibaba. Is it Alfred? Let me just see. Okay, maybe I'll just do Alibaba. I think it seems like a few people are asking about Baba, B-A-B-A, Baba, Alibaba, right? Okay, good. B-A-B-A, let's go. Alibaba Group Holdings, BABA, that will be pretty much the first stock right over here. Let's go to take a look at it. Wow. Okay. Wow. So this is Alibaba. I think pretty good. Okay, this is the one that's listed on the US. I mean, today's US market, right? So BABA, the one that's listed on the US Stock Exchange. Of course, there's one listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange as well. But today we'll be looking at the US, right, listed one, right? So BA Alibaba. So I think not too bad. The price now is $136 plus. If you ask me, in like September, well, we got a bearish signal. Came all the way down. Some bearish signal went down a bit. But I think it really woke up. I think right over here in like January, 24th January. Look at these guys. We got not one, but two bullish signals right over here on the 24th of Jan to be exact, and the 28th of Jan to be exact. All right, I think why did we have a bullish signal? I think we kind of broke this resistance at about the $90. I think it was like $90 was a resistance. You can see came down. Finally, we attempted to break the $90, and there we go. I think it looks pretty good. Right? It looks pretty good. We have already gone up. I'm not too sure exactly when you have bought Alfred, but it looks like from 90 all the way. From these bullish signals, it's like 57.9% gain. I think it's a pretty good profit. Right? If you want to take some profit along the way, right? That is, I leave it to you. But I think what you could do right now is to take steps to kind of like protect your profit. So I think the longer term trend, looking at the rates and the blue line, looks okay. So as I said, the rate above the blue, right? And that has been the way since like August last year. The longer term trend has gradually turned up. Right? The short term trend, if you ask me, it was down. Right? In September. October, down, flat. But when we got these bullish signals coming out in January, right? So this bullish signals is a separate confirmation, right? But now we got the bullish signals. We broke the horizontal resistance level, plus the green 20 days moving average line also started to point up, right? Whereby, it means that the short-term trend has turned up as well. Is the green line still pointing up? Well, answer is yes, right? So I think it looks okay, right? Just that I think it might have gone up a bit too fast, okay? So you might want to take some profit along the way, maybe near 150. I think near 150, I think some bargain and some profit taking is starting to come back. If you can draw this horizontal resistance level here, I think we are pretty much at an all-time high, or maybe back to where we were in 2022, 2021. So I think 150 could be a psychological level, right? When it hits the near 14 something, 145, 148, 147, whatever. Take some profit if you want, all right? That could be a major resistance, all right? And if you're talking about like maybe some support level, what I could do is that I could turn on what we call the trailing support. So this is the indicator that I have, right? It comes up with bullish and bearish signals to guide you on when to get in, get out. Attend one of those free webinars to understand a bit more. But right now, let me just turn on the trailing support. So you can see right over here, when we actually, okay, let me just remove all these lines, right? When we actually have this bullish signals coming out, look at this pump, right? In January, I mentioned just now, right? A trailing support pops up. What is a trailing support? Well, it gives the stock space to move up, and it accounts for volatility of the stock as well. All right, so it's called trailing support. So trailing means follow lah. So you follow the stock as it moves up, but don't follow too closely lah. Give it some space as well lah, right? And as it moves higher, it follows it. So you give it some space to move up, and hopefully it moves up more, it follows more. Does it make sense? And this is what we call breathing space and allowance for the stock, such that if we were to stay above it, are we still above it? The answer is yes, right? So as long as you stay above this, trading support, I think it's still pretty okay. It's given the space to hopefully move higher. If it breaks 150, I think we'll follow up even more. All right. But if we were to go below it, right? If you go below it, right? Like this is the green line right now, the trailing support, if we can kind of extend it, right? So that is kind of like the trailing support, maybe around the 120, right? So if they go below 120, then not so good lah. Go below 120, maybe you might see a bit of a retracement, a bearish signal might come out, and that's where you want to be careful. But I think now anything near 120 to 130, if you can hold above, I think that's where some bargain hunting is slowly coming back. All right, so that would be pretty much the first stock on Alibaba. The code is BABA. So maybe let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next US stock. Go ahead, Bervyn.
Thanks, Joey. Okay, so the next US stock that I think, excuse me, that I think I want to cover will be this. I think Palantir. I think quite a few people are asking about Palantir. Alan is asking about Palantir. Eugene. Palantir short term still going up or down? Okay, just let me throw my screen up. Okay, I think Palantir, if you have bought previously, I think yes, you had a very, very, very good run. I think the prices raised from, I think, roughly about its low to its high. It's about 500% in a span of about 1 year already. I think he had a very good run up, but I think the most recent thing that happened is I think defense spending in the US is going to be cut about 8%. So I think there is some selling that actually came in for this counter. I think in the near term wise, I would say the resistance would be around the $100 level. I think prices previously gapped up, held above this $100, but then it wasn't able to hold above it in the last week or so. After testing it a couple of days, this support actually gave way, turning it into a resistance right now. So if we are looking into the nearer term, we actually still see the 20 days moving average still sloping up. But however, we got prices currently are below the 20-day moving average. We are also what we call trading close to a support level, and we have tested it, our consolidated just slightly above it for 3 days already. But I think as of last night, we saw that there's this candlestick right here that is a little bit more bearish. Actually looks like sellers actually took control or actually held control for majority of the time last night as well. Most counters actually sold down. So this support remains tested, and if it is broken, I think we may see downside towards the $70 level. Of course, I hope that we may be able to see a bit of a bargain hunting coming in close to this, 84, 85 towards this $90 level, where some buyers could be looking to accumulate on the dips, especially because the company had already started to turn a profit as well. So if we are able to break above, of course, the $100 will then resume its position as a new support level or psychological support level, so to speak. But if we were to turn on the trailing support and resistance line, you can see that previously there was a trailing support, like Joey had mentioned. As prices moved higher, the trailing support will of course move higher a bit. But on this day right here, we actually see the trailing support being broken, close to the 100 level, and then subsequently prices started to slip downwards. All right, so if we were to turn on the signals, we have a new 1GT bearish signal that had appeared as well. So if you're looking to buy into Palantir, I think maybe just let prices, let prices consolidate close to this support. Check if this support level is able to hold first. Then perhaps you may see this 20 days moving average start to flatten out a little bit, some signs of stabilization before actually, rushing in to buy. Because I don't think you have a reason to be getting in right now. There's no clear signs of like any bullish candlesticks or anything like that close to the support level, indicating that there are buyers there right now. It's just very, very close to the support. Not much signs at all. So, but I think the upside, if this $100 level is able to give way, would be back towards the 125 to the 130 level, I would say. Yeah. So I think in the near term, volatility is still very, very much there for Palantir. So, but if you're asking me if it's going up tonight, I don't know. Going down tonight, I also don't know. But all I can tell you is tonight there's financial data that's going to be released. The PCE is going to be released. So I think you may see further volatility tonight in the market as well. All right. So that's a very quick one for Palantir. Maybe Z, can you bring us through the next stock?
Okay, thanks, Bervyn. Just checking if my mic all okay. If my mic is okay, right, just let me know. Just in case if I need to relog out again. All right.
Oh, good,
Okay,
looks good.
so
Go ahead. Yeah, I
okay,
think it's good.
great. Okay, so I think the next stock, right, that I will be covering will be this stock called Sophie by naps are good. By the way, I think that power naps are indeed actually quite good because it actually help you throughout the day to last even longer. So anyway, by the way, let's go back to the stock. Okay, so for Sophie, right, we see that since 2024, prices have kind of like just been consolidating and moving sideways within this range, right, about this $6 to about $10 to $10.50. As you can see, it goes up and down. But within this consolidation range, one thing that we can actually also notice is like kind of like higher lower heights are actually forming. If I were to, draw this, we can actually see that, this downward sloping channel within this consolidation phase, right? But what happened is that price actually started to move and rally up when we actually start to see more confirmation when, the 20 days moving average crossed above the 100 days, which is the blue line. And subsequently in November, the red crossed above the blue line. And that's where we saw prices going all the way up, and then it starts to consolidate sideways again, right? So right now, I mean, if we look at the trend, in terms of the moving averages, the longer term trend, 100 days, 200 days, red and blue, both of them are still heading up. So I would say that the longer term trend still looks pretty much intact. But if we look at the shorter term trend, the 20 days moving average, it is actually pointing down, right? It's actually pointing down. So it actually means that there's some short-term weakness, there's some short-term weakness for this particular stock. And plus, what Joey and Bervyn has mentioned earlier on, right now with the Trump tariffs and a lot of political uncertainty, plus the PC is actually coming out tonight. So perhaps you might actually see more short-term weakness for this counter. I'm not sure, but what we want to see, right, is this 20 days moving average, right, stop pointing down and actually head sideways for a bit first, right? At least head sideways for a bit first. So over here, we can actually see that, there is actually somewhat of a support returning at about this $14. This maybe $13.50 to about this $14 level right over here, right? So this is why I've actually drawn a green line, which is the support that maybe you might want to take note of, set a price alert. And in terms of resistance wise, it will be near this $18 psychological level where we actually start to see selling pressure coming back in. Prices came back down, and now it's retesting this $14 support level. Okay, so now let me just turn on the buy and sell signal to have a look as well. All right, so like what I mentioned, right, when price was actually consolidating, since 2024 all the way to September, November, right, actually see multiple 1GT bullish and bearish signals coming out because, like I've mentioned, price is actually in a consolidation range. It can go up and down, right? But then once it actually broke above, right, and we have to have confirmation from the moving averages, we can see that price actually went all the way up. And even when the first 1GT signal actually came out right over here to the bearish signal, that is about more than 100% price increase, right, for like 4 to 5 months. Yeah, within a span of 4 to 5 months, right? And right now we see that there is actually a 1GT bearish signal on the 6th of February, right over here, right? And if we were to turn on this trailing support and resistance, we can see that price is actually trading below this trailing support and this trailing resistance, right? This trailing resistance. So yeah, like I've mentioned, more selling pressure for this particular stock at this point in time, and you might want to take note of this $14 psychological support first before taking any action or thinking whether if you want to buy or sell. Because the thing is that if tonight maybe the results for PC come out to be weak and maybe Trump were to add more tariffs or things like that, right? Then we might actually see more weakness in this counter. And if I were to not draw all of this, right, let me just let me just remove all of this. And let's see where's the horizontal support resistance, right? So I will just to turn this on, and you can see right over here, right, around this 1350, right? This level, this is where the horizontal support is. So if price, like what I mentioned, is unable to hold above this support level, right, definitely we will be actually seeing more weakness coming back to this counter, and you'll actually also see another 1GT bearish signal coming out as well. So I would say for this counter, maybe you want to monitor especially the key levels first at this 14 level to see if prices is actually able to hold before actually rushing in lah. And if you're actually already holding on to the stocks, then perhaps around, if prices were to rebound, right, and hold above this support level, and it rebounds back to this $18, which is the resistance level, that's where you can consider to take some partial profits as well. All right, because the longer term trend is still intact, and you might take some partial profits, and the balance you can continue to ride the uptrend if it continues to go up and break the $18. All right, so that would be for Sophie. And now I will pass the time back to Joey to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you so much, Z. Very good analysis right there on Sophie. All right, so let me go ahead to cover the next one. I think we have this stock by JH asking about Costco, right? Time to sell now or not, right? Time to sell now, question mark, right? So I think you are probably holding and then you don't know whether is it time to sell now, or maybe you go up some more, right? Maybe you sell then go up some more, or wasted, right? Or you never sell then go down, right? So what should you do? Okay, I'll go to cover that in a bit, but let me go to see some of the questions. I think some of you have some questions as well, like we have Snowy, which system are you using? I think you're referring to these, bullish and bearish signals that comes out on the chart, like, this is what we have, the one good trend indicator, we call it, the 1GT Pro indicator right over here. So that's where, we could simply, with a click of a button, just turn on the bullish and bearish signal. Look at it right over here. So this is Costco, right? I'll cover it in a bit, but you can see pump on, pump off, right? Does it make sense, right? So in a matter of seconds, for any stocks, US stocks, Singapore stock, DBS, NVIDIA, whatever you want, get an opinion in seconds. So this is what we have. This is it's not really a system, we call it an indicator, all right? And as I say, you want to find a bit more, I don't have time to cover everything on how it works and stuff. You want to find a bit more on the backbone or the framework behind the indicator, so you understand clearly how it works. I think attend one of those free webinars, Snowy, all right? The link is in the chat again, all right? Attend it, and then that's where I think you will get a better understanding, all right? But today, we'll just pretty much dive into the stocks. Okay, let me move on to JH's question. Costco, time to sell now, all right? Let's see. Okay, so I would say that, let me go to turn off the signals right here. I think for Costco, one of the very, I would say, gradual, firm, uptrending stock in the long term. Look at this. I mean, the red and the blue line is pointing up, red above the blue, very solid, longer term, firm uptrending stock. You can see that we have been forming what we call higher lows. Look at this, very nice, right? Rebound. Pretty much thing above what we call a channel support line, all right? So that's what we call a very good uptrending stock. I mean, to be honest, we have this stock quite a while already. I mean, it's been in our portfolio. One of the stocks that you definitely want to hold for the longer term, all right? Of course, in the short term, as I say, we can see a bit of weakness, like, 1 week, 2 week, maybe 1 month, that kind of thing, right? But in the longer term, it looks okay. Does it make sense? So let's go to your question right now. I think what is it looking like? So I would say that right now, longer term is intact. If you look at the short term, well, I mean, if you ask me in like December, then I'll say maybe to wait first. Look at this, right? We saw a bit of weakness. The green line turns down, and then somewhere in February, the green line start to turn back up. The 20 days moving average. And if I can quickly turn on what we call the signals that I mentioned just now, right? Pump. Let's turn it on. Let's take a look at what comes out. So you can see that for Costco, in fact, we have a couple of bullish signals since like November 2023. Look at this, right over here. We got a very strong bullish signals, all the way up. A bearish signal. So when you see a bearish signal, it's not so good. A bit of profit taking. You want to get out, take some profit, up to you. All right. You see a bit of a come down a bit. Another bullish signal, all the way up. Bearish signal came down maybe 2 weeks. Bullish signal, bullish, all the way up again. And then in December, I mentioned, right, we got a bearish signal. I came down maybe 2-3 weeks again. But let's see. I think somewhere in like January, end of January, we got not one, but two bullish signals, and it started to make its way back up. All right. So if you are looking to sell, well, I mean, nothing wrong to take some profit, because normally what we encourage our our mentees and our students is that if you want to take some profit, it depends on your position size. I mean, you have like 1,000 shares. I mean, this is what, or maybe you have like 50 shares or 500 shares. It depends, right? So if you have quite a huge position size, I think it's good to take some profit. Take half, take 1/3, take 1/4. Up to you, right? Up to you. But I think what could be done is that I have no idea what price you bought, but if you have already bought when it was like much lower prices, what you could do is to take steps to kind of like protect your profit. So for example, right now, like I would say 1,000 would be what we call a psychological support level, all right? It used to be the resistance. We have gone above the 1,000. Now the 1,000 will be a psychological support level. And we are still above it. Now it's what, 1021, which is above it, right? So if we stay above the 1,000, I think it's still okay, right? Still okay. We might just consolidate above it to 1,000 to maybe 1080. I think that is pretty much the resistance level right now, 1,000 to 1080. Yeah. So if we stay above that 1,000, still okay. Still okay. The uptrend still looks intact. We may just see the green 20 days moving average time maybe flatten out before continue to point up. All right. But the fact is that these bullish signals are still in play, right? So what you could do is to maybe set a stop loss to kind of take steps to protect your profits, JH, all right? So that if it does go below 1,000, I think that's where you might want to reduce some exposure, because we could start to see weakness coming back as well. So it really depends on your position size, all right? Are you going for the longer term? Are you trading in out, swing trading? What is your trading position like? All right, if it's like a huge position, then of course, if it breaks 1,000, you might want to think about, maybe just getting out, because in the short term, you could see the reversal happening. And if I can quickly open up what we call over here, the trailing support right over here. Let me just turn it on. You can see, right? So yeah, this trading support is, you can see it is somewhere over here. So it gives us another indication. So 1,000 would be a psychological support. This trading support, on the other hand, give us a bit of an indication based on the volatility of the stock. I say, right? Give it space for the stock to move higher, and we definitely want to be above it as well. So I would say this would be maybe 1,010. All right. So yeah, anything above 1,010 to be even more exact, or 1,000, that would be better. I think it still looks pretty okay. All right, so that is for Costco. The code is COST. Okay, Bervyn, bring us through the next US stock. Go ahead.
Thanks, Joey. Okay, I think a rather interesting one here. So this Gary is asking, he bought a buy call option. Okay, yeah, for NNE. So NNE, I believe you are referring to nano nuclear energy. All right, okay, so he's asking about option, but to just quickly go through this, an option, if you're trading an option, you still have to take care of the underlying. So in this case of Gary, his underlying would be nano nuclear energy stocks, the shares. Okay, so we don't do a technical analysis on the call option pricing because it's illogical and there's an expiry date, and it will not be around for a very long time for us to perform a meaningful technical analysis on it. So in this case, Gary, I will just go through the stock for you, and then I understand that your strike price is about $35. So all right, so I understand that should be roughly where you think the resistance level is at. Yeah, in this case, I would agree with you that previously 34 and a half to 35. You see a little bit of a meaningful resistance right here, as we saw sellers quickly came in a few times as prices approach this 35 level. So for your call option to be in the money, you need the stock price to rise above $35. So in this case, prices have been, trading under this $35 level for a couple of weeks already, and we can see that the 200 days moving average, although it's a little bit short because we just arrived at the 200 days mark for this counter trading, is still pointing up, along with the 100 days still pointing up at this point. But what we have here is actually the 20 days moving average have started to slope down. I believe this is you can see it is after the prices had slowed down from close to the $48 level as well. So we saw a little bit of weakness in the past few days, and as of yesterday, let me just clear up a little bit. As of yesterday, we saw that there is another bearish candle that had actually came out as well. Very long bearish candle that actually came out that indicates that yesterday selling pressure was there in the market for this counter. All right, so with the near-term support, I think would be around the $23 to $24 level. This is where I think prices had rebounded from once already. In the last 3 days, it's a good sign that this could be a firm support level that buyers like to come in for bargain hunting as well. But if we were to turn on, like say, our trailing support and resistance, you would likely see that prices had actually formed where we have a trailing resistance right here after prices broke below this $28 trailing support as well. So in the near term wise, it seems like, let me just turn on. The bearish signal is still there, it's still present. It has been here for the past 3 days. And after yesterday's sell down, we may see, selling pressure back towards this $23 to $24 support level. Not a good sign, especially if this 23 to 24 level is broken, you may see prices head back towards the key psychological $20 level as well. So I mean, if you are saying that your call option is expiring on the 7th of March, I think your time decay will be also definitely increasing your the decay is exponential at this point. You perhaps, if you are able to, one way you could actually think of is to actually release some of these positions closer, as in if especially if this $24 support is broken, to actually try to preserve a little bit of your capital as well. Yeah. So in the near term wise, there is no signs that prices are going to be heading up very very quickly to the 34 to 40 level at this point. We want to see a little bit of signs of strength returning with the 20 days moving average starting to point up. But as of this point, we do not have any signs of this. All right, okay, that's a very quick one for you, Gary. Z, can you bring us through the next stock?
All right, thanks, Bervyn. Okay, so the next stock that I'll be covering will be Google, because I saw Eugene asking how is long term for Google. Then I think someone Marco, right, is also asking, right, like for Google, is it almost ready to buy at a good low price, right? I mean, of course, over the past few days, we actually saw quite a lot of tech stock actually pull back, right? Especially all the Magnificent Seven stocks, especially when the market is weak as well at this point in time with some short-term weakness, right? So let's take a look at Google. So for Google, I mean, since 2024 all the way to where we are at, I mean, longer term trend, it still looks good, right? Because with the 100 days and the 200 days moving average, there's some fluctuation here and there, but generally both are still actually heading up, right? But in terms of short-term trend, it was actually heading up all the way somewhere till Feb, right? That's where we actually start to see the U-turn, and it's actually currently still pointing down, and there's still no signs of like, the 20 days moving average for the short-term trend, right, to actually like move sideways yet. It is still pointing down quite steeply, right, as we can tell from here. But in terms of the longer term trend, they are still heading up, but if you look closely, right, it is kind of flattening out a little. It's kind of flattening out a little as well, right? So in terms of support and resistance, right, we can see that one of the very crucial and key support level that we should actually take note is around this 150 psychological support, because that was where when selling pressure came back in near this 190 resistance, sellers came back in, pushed price back down, managed to hold above this 150 before rebounding back up. So 150, I would say, would be one of the crucial key support that maybe you want to take note of. And also, as you can see here, I already add like a price alert. So you guys can also consider to add some price alert as well to monitor where the price action are going. All right. So for the past couple of days, I mean, of course, we can see multiple red candles, right? And prices is still heading down, right? So right now, let's turn on the buy and sell signal to have a look as well. Okay, so as of now, very recently on the 7th of February, right over here, we can actually see a 1 GT bearish signal. And if I were to turn on the trailing support and resistance, I mean, price definitely is trading below the trailing resistance at this point in time, right? So I would say, for those who are thinking about investing this for the long term, right? Be it like you want to buy now, you think that the price is low, right? I would say maybe you want to consider and monitor to wait for at least the price to stabilize first, because at this point in time, over the past 5 days, right, we can see all the red candles. We are unable to find where exactly the buyers are coming in to support in the prices yet. Maybe it could be 165, 160. I'm not sure, but at least we might want to see something like that happening, right? Some sideways consolidation, or at least the price is able to hold above a certain level for you to know where are the buyers coming in to support the prices. Because if let's say you think that, okay, right now 168, wow, I think the price is very cheap compared to when it was previously at 200. Yes, I agree it's cheap. But the thing is that there is still no signs where the buyers are coming in yet. So if you buy at 168, maybe it can continue to dip down to 160, 153, 14 something, right? So it can continue to head lower, and we don't have unlimited capital, right? Like Warren Buffett, right? I mean, of course, all of us have limited capital, and you need to utilize your capital efficiently, right? So you want to buy for long-term investment, that's fine, but you also need to make sure to know where the support is at for you to buy correctly. Okay, not meaning that the price dip, I straight away buy. The price dip, I straight away buy, because that's where you might get your capital stuck. All right, so like what I mentioned, for those who are looking at Google for now, right, you want to set your price alert as the 151 150, because if prices were to continue to dip to this 150, right, then we might start to see these 100 days and 200 days starts to point down already, and that is not a very good sign, because we don't want to buy when the trend are actually turning down. Right, so this is where you want to set a price alert as well, and as well as the resistance at about 190. If prices is able to hold and consolidate and rebound back to this 190, that's where you can consider to take some partial profits as well. Okay, so that would be for Google. I will pass the time back to Joey for the next US stock.
All right, thank you so much, Z. I think very good analysis. I think what Z mentioned as well, that we don't just want to buy because it's cheap, all right? Because, you go down, you buy cheap, then go down cheaper, you can buy some more, and then after that, it's not so good. We only want to buy when there are clear signs, like what Z has mentioned. There are clear signs of some buying pressure coming back. We're seeing a bit of support coming back. We spot some bullish candles. We may have a new bullish signal coming out. The 20 days moving average line that represents a short-term trend turns back up. Well, all these guides us as confirmations to think about getting back in. But if we don't even get one of them, then what's the point of rushing to get in? That doesn't make sense. All right, so I hope you guys get a bit on that strategy part. All right, let me move on to the next stock, and that would be C Limited. C Limited. I think we have Heidi. I think you're asking about C Limited, buy or sell, right? So let me go to analyze it for you right now. So I think this is C Limited, not too bad. I think before turning on like what it says on the 1GT indicator, right, in terms of the signals, I think you can see that we have been in a pretty good longer term uptrend, right? Since like last year, I think last year, April, right, we kind of broke above the $50 psychological level. I think it was a very key resistance level right here, $50. Okay, it came down. Finally, in March, we broke above it, right? 1 month later, we saw the longer term trend, 100 days and 200 days, crossing above one another. And I think that really sparked off the whole move in terms of the reversal in the longer term. All right, and yeah, from 50 to 60, 70, 80, 90, 90, 100, 110, now it's 126, right? So not too bad. I think longer term uptrend definitely still looks intact just by looking at the longer term moving averages. Of course, in the short term, yeah, we can see weakness. Look at this. There was a bit of a sell down here in July, right? July last year. Same thing, a bit of a sell down in December as well, but we managed to come back up. So let's see what is happening right now. So I think that we have kind of like, gone above this resistance level, and that would be the 120, right? You can see 120 was actually a bit of a psychological resistance. Look at this. We spotted a bit of a bearish candlestick right over here as well. All right, sellers is coming back to push prices down. 1 time, 2 times, 3, 4 times, and yes, indeed, we start to come down. Of course, the 20 days moving average line starts to point down as well in December. But as we go into January, that's where you see the green line from going down, now start to point back up. Does it make sense? And then we also broke the 120 resistance level, which would now be a new support level. All right. So now you can see that. In fact, I think like 2 days back on like Tuesday, we kind of like, approached the 120 and we, rebounded from it. In fact, we got what we call like something like a hammer, right? Even though it's red in color, the bar is red in color, that means it opens high and closes lower. But the fact is that we got a long lower shadow. Some call it a weak shadow. Basically, is where prices went down, very bearish bar, but buyers came back up near the 120 and started to push it all the way back up, and it closed somewhere near the high. Does it make sense? So that's a sign of strength. That just gives a bit more support that this 120 is in it where some bargain hunting can come back. Another confirmation, I would say, from like this resistance, all right? We broke above it, it should become a psychological support, which it is. Plus now, we see a bullish candlestick happening near there as well. Does it make sense? So that will be like another confirmation. So I think right now, we can draw another resistance line, maybe around 140, like 140. So I think the range is like 120 to 140. I think that is pretty much what it's doing. The green line may be starting to maybe flatten out a bit because we saw a bit of a selling down, right? From 140, we saw a sell down, but it's still holding above the support level. So let me just go to open what we call the indicator and just turn on the 1GT bullish and bearish signals. Let's turn on. You can see, right? So I think not too bad. Look at this. I mean, we have some pretty good bullish signals right over here. February last year started to push all the way up. 88% bearish signal came back down. Another bullish signals coming out in August. Look at this, all the way up. Another bullish one went up. 84% in about 6 months. All right, 84% in 6 months, guys. All right, and let's see. I think over the past few days, we actually got a bearish signal. So why did we have a bearish signal, right? I mean, even though we are above the this 120 support. So 120 would be what we call a horizontal support level that I've drawn, all right? But let me show you right over here. Why did we have a bearish signal? So I can just quickly turn on what we call the trailing support and resistance. So you can see this trailing support. I mean, when we first got this bullish signal right here in August, right? I mean, as I say, from here, we've got two bullish signals, not one, but two, right? All the way up until you got a bearish signal, 81% in about 6 months. So this trailing support, as I say, gives the stock space to move up. It stays above it. Long-term uptrend is intact. You give it space. It accounts for the volatility of a stock, right? If it's very volatile, we give it more space. If it's not so volatile, then don't need so many space, right? Don't need so much space. So you can see it has been, since August, we have been above it. And this green trailing support follow, flat up. And it follows it as it goes higher. Does it make sense? Since August. And yeah, indeed, right, over the past few days, in fact, right over here, it's the fact that we actually gone below the trailing support line, right? I mean, we give it space, right? It should be above it, right? But why did it go down, right? So, well, that's because we saw a bit of weakness. I mean, we headed to the resistance, we came back down. So that's the reason why we got a bearish signal coming out, right? But I think overall, as I say, right, we're still above the 120. I mean, the fact that we have gone below the trailing support, yeah, maybe a bit of a selling in the short term, but I think if we can hold above 120, still okay. If we get another bullish signal coming out, the green line continue to point up, well, that could give us another confirmation of that, next phase of the upside. All right, so that would be for C Limited. All right, so Bervyn, go ahead to cover the next US stock.
Thanks, Joey. Okay, so the next one, I think maybe quite a few people are also taking on this. Tesla. I think Chiseng is asking, should I sell now? What is the potential in the long term for Tesla? Let me just throw up Tesla onto the screen. Okay, right here we have Tesla. I think after the recent high, I think we are back to where we were somewhere in November again, after prices sold down for, I think consecutively, I think for 6 days already. We have already started to sell down for about 6 days, and we are trading under the $350 resistance that I've also mentioned previously as well. So I think this support did not hold. This 350 support was previously being tested, and then it turned into a resistance after prices broke below it, and then right now we are testing the $280 level where we were previously in November as well, with the 20 days moving average also pointing down. It's not a good sign for the counter in the nearer term, especially if we see so many bearish candlesticks that had actually appeared close to this 350 resistance, and also right now close to this 280 support level as well. So prices are actually sold down from the $480 level, so that is at least about 40% sell down already. So I mean, if you are holding on to Tesla, I think if you had protect your profit, I mean, great, you have gotten out with some profits, especially if prices broke those key levels. But if you're still holding on to Tesla, maybe it's time to consider a little bit of a stop loss strategy or profit protection strategy, because right now this support is also what we can see here, also very close to this 200 days moving average, and with the 20 days moving average looking like it's about to cross below the 100 days moving average. If it's not able to rebound from this 100 days moving average, that's when sellers may take this as a further indication that there is weakness in the counter. So where would prices head to if this $280 level is broken? I would say that it could potentially head towards the $200 psychological level. So I mean, that's not what we want to see. So I think first thing first, right here, I think you have to set an alert to alert yourself if prices are crossing below this 280 level. So maybe about the 278 level, you want to set a alert to get notified that prices have broken this $280 level, and what would be your next plan of action as well. So if I were to turn on the buy and sell signals right here, we have a 1 GT bearish signal that had actually appeared on the 31st of December last year. Then prices started to sell down. So if you had received this 1 GT bearish signal on your side, great. Then you will have to maybe come up with a plan to protect some profits, especially with the $350 being tested a few times as well. But at least at this point, I will not be looking to buy. I think also because let me just take this chance to also answer what someone had asked as well. They've asked, what does it mean by the moving average flattening out? Okay, so let me just refer back slightly. What am I talking about will actually be a scenario like somewhere in October, where you actually saw prices slow down a little bit. The 20 days moving average has started to point down and then it had flattened out. This is a sign that the prices have stabilized or is stabilizing close to these levels. It is okay to wait for the the indicators to be in your favor. Do not have to rush. So in this case, if a similar stabilization may happen, the 20-day moving average may look something like this. And hopefully it points up as well. So I think Chiseng, if you're looking to sell, I think just put an alert below the 280 level. I hope it rebounds from the 280 level as well. But if it doesn't, then let's consider a stop loss plan. Nothing wrong to get out first and then get back in later when the indicators or when the trend reverts in our favor as well. All right, Chiseng. Okay, Z, can you bring us through the next stock?
All right, thanks, Bervyn. Okay, so the next stock that I'll be covering is, I think Leong is asking about Palo Alto and FI, right? Okay, so when to get in. Okay, so maybe I'll just cover the first stock for now, which is PANW, right? That's for Palo Alto Networks. So for Palo Alto, we can take a look at the longer term trend. I mean, of course, 2024 all the way to now, both 100 and 200 days moving averages are still pointing up, right? I mean, if you look at it as a bigger picture, both of them are still pointing up. In between, of course, we also do see some fluctuation, up and down in terms of the moving averages as well, the 20 days moving averages in terms of the short-term trend. But as of now, let's take a look. When during August, right, August to where we are at, we actually can find a support somewhere around this 164 to 165 level, because this level was actually tested multiple times, right? 1, 2, and near it, prices rebound back up, right? So this level was actually tested multiple times. So I would say, for now, I would say this level would be one of the support level that you want to take note of, right? And in terms of resistance wise, I would say it's somewhere maybe around 200 to 210, because this would be where we actually start to see selling pressure returning, especially with this long upper shadow near on this very day, right? Whereby we saw selling pressure coming back in and push the price all the way back down and close even lower than it actually opened. Same thing happens here as well. So it actually be tested about 2 times, I would say. So as of now, in terms of the trend, let's go back to the trend again, all right? The moving averages, 100, 200 days, we don't need to say that because both of them are actually pointing up. But the 20 days moving average, if we zoom in, we can see that this green line is actually going sideways, right? It's actually flattening out. Like what Bervyn actually mentioned earlier on, right? So if you're asking when can you get in, so I would suggest maybe if you already have the 1GT Pro indicator, one thing that you can utilize would be this very good function called the trailing support and resistance. So like what Joey mentioned earlier on, it accounts for volatility, right? So if you just click of a button, we turn this on, you can actually see all these shaded areas, right? This green line and all these green and red shaded areas. So when we want to buy, we want to buy when the trend is actually up. So does this check the boxes? The uptrend is actually intact, right? Both red and the blue is actually pointing up. And right now, price, is it still holding above the trailing support? Yes, it's still holding above the trailing support. And this is a support, right? And like we've mentioned, we only want to buy near a support zone. So right now, price, the trailing support is right over here. And its prices within the support zone? I would say yes, the price is currently within this support zone near the trailing support. So I would say around this level, that's where you can actually consider to actually get in. But of course, do remember to actually set your stop loss as well, because for the next few days, I mean, of course, I don't know whether today, later, the price open, it might close below this trailing support, right? And it might continue to point, the 20 days moving average might actually start to do this also, right? It might actually also point out, I don't know, because I won't be able to forecast what's going to happen, right? So if you were to enter near the support zone right over here, let me just draw this for you. This would be the support zone, right? Then potentially where you can consider to actually place a stop loss will be slightly below the support zone over here. So let me just put this in red like that. So this could be a potential trading plan as well, whereby you enter near the support zone, especially when the longer term trend is up, and you have a stop loss in place to protect your risk as well. So of course, if prices can hold above this, consolidate a bit, then after that, the 20 days moving average starts to point up like that, and price continue to head up like this. And the resistance, like what we mentioned earlier on, right, is around this 200 to 210. That's where you can actually continue and to ride the trend by raising your stop limit order up, as well as maybe you can consider to take some partial profits at this psychological resistance level as well. All right. So that would be for Palo Alto. I'll pass the time back to Joey for now.
All right, thank you so much, Z. Very good analysis right there. All right, on how you could actually protect your position as well. Not just thinking about buying and buying, but don't bother what happens if it goes down. All right, so you could take what we call like a stop loss, whereby you force below a certain level, you could get out automatically. You want to make sure that the plan makes sense to you as well regarding getting in. What's the upside reward? What's the downside risk? All right, that's pretty much how you build the plan, right? So as I say, you want to find a bit more on that, 10 more of those free webinars. That's where we'll dive a little bit into like the reward, the risk, and all the more advanced stuff. All right, okay. So let me move on to the number 10 stock. Number 10 stock, and let me go to share my screen right now. And I would say that would be TSM. I think who is asking? Hui Min, I think you're asking about TSM. Can I buy TSM since yes, dropped a lot? All right, what is a lot? Okay, let me find out what is a lot. But this is TSM right here. So maybe before I cover TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor, right, listed in the US, let me just do a quick coverage of what we have covered so far. So those of you who are just joining us, welcome to this Ask Me Any Stock session. Today, we'll be looking at the US market. If you have no idea who we are, my name is Joey. I'm a top tier MySdale trader in Flip Securities. I have my team right here as well. Top brokers in Flip Securities under me as well. And we are pretty much covering the US stocks that you guys are asking about. So we have covered like about 10 US stocks. We look at the markets in the front as well, the Dow Jones, as well as the S&P 500 index. So if you have missed any of the markets or the stocks, right, watch the replay. The replay will be ready after the live session. So let me just go to cover and just share with you guys what were the stocks that were covered, right? Dow Jones and S&P 500 first. And the very first stock that I covered would be Alibaba, right? The code is BABA, all right, that's the code. And then Bervyn covered Palantir, PLTR is the code, all right? Sophie covered as well. Costco, that was covered by me. The next one would be NNE, there was a code NNE. And then we have Google, GOOGL, number 6. Number 7 was C Limited. Number 8 was Tesla, right? TSLA, Tesla. And Z just pretty much covered Palo Alto Networks, PANW, right? And that would be stock number 10 right now. And that would be TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor. Okay, let's take a look, right? So I think, Hui Min, you have this question. Can I buy TSM since it has dropped a lot? So let's see whether it did really drop a lot. I think we can take a look at it. I think there would be a resistance right here at about $220. Let me just go a bit faster so I can see that I've turned on the signals right over here already on my indicator. Look at this, off it, pump on it, and you can see quite clearly we have not one but two bearish signals coming out, all right, and it started to push a little bit lower. So I would say that we normally don't want to buy a stock that has just because it dropped a lot or drop a bit or doesn't matter, drop a bit or a lot, right? Basically, we don't, that's not the criteria to buy, right? We only want to buy because we see some signs of a reversal. It's strong. It's starting to look like, buyers are coming back. It's starting to look like, it could see, that rebound happening again. Then we think about buying, right? Not because it dropped a lot or a bit or whatever, right? So that's how it works. So I think right over here, you can see that we would have like a support right here. I think around the $180. You can see, right? That was where we have rebounded somewhere in December. In fact, right over here, it was a resistance. You can see we push away from it as well, So I think 180 would be a very key support for now, all right? Very key support for now. In fact, yesterday, we closed at about $181. 181. So we got a bearish signal coming out. We kind of like just closed below. I mean, we closed at 181, which is thankfully still above the 180. So I think normally we don't want to buy, right? Because first of all, it's dropped, but we got bearish signals coming out, and the longer term trend is up. No issue on the longer term trend, right? But the question is that the short term trend is turning down right now, like what we've seen previously, right? It's turned down, all right, and right now you can see the green line is also starting to turn down. All right. So we want to wait until some stability comes back. All right. The short-term trend start to stabilize and turns back up. Then we think about getting in. All right. And maybe if we have a new bullish signal, then we can think about getting in. So I think 180 would be a very key support. If we break the 180, right? Take note, we might even have another bearish signal coming out. All right. And if you just rush to get in, then you might get stuck. All right. So I would say that maybe the next support level, if I can draw it for you, would be around the 150. I'm not saying that you go to 150 or 160, right? But what we're trying to say is that right over here, that was where we have rebounded previously when we hit it there in September, right over here, September, August, May, all right, rebounded. So that could be where if the 180 were to break down, I'm not saying it'll break out, but if all right, if it breaks 180, then we may see a bearish signal. The green line may continue to point down, and we may potentially hit towards the 150. If that happens, then let it play out. I'm not sure whether it's 150 or 155 or 160. I have no idea. But if it goes there, we stabilize. We see a bullish signal. We see some buying pressure coming back. The green line starts to turn back up. Well, that would be when then you can think about buying. Right, when we get all these confirmations whereby it is starting to move up. Right, but right now, if you ask me, has the confirmation come? Haven't yet. All right, haven't yet. So haven't come, then don't buy lah. Does it make sense, All right, so we want to get the confirmations, then we think about buying, not because it dropped a lot or a bit. Okay, and so I hope that helps Hui Min. Okay, so let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next US stock.
Thanks, Joey. Okay, the next one I also want to cover is Alfred is asking about Amazon. Okay, no context, but okay, so let's just see. Amazon right here. Okay, we actually saw a little bit of selling also, likewise with the same of the rest of the market as well, but we still got the 100 days and 200 days moving average starting still sloping up at this point. So good sign at this point that the longer term trend is still intact, but the support level right now looks to be about the $200 or 200 psychological level at this point. When prices have previously inched close to it, I think 3 days ago, and we saw a level of buyers actually come back in. So just let me zoom into this candlestick right here. You see a long lower shadow right here, indicating that buyers actually took control. So what actually happened was maybe sometime in the day, prices had actually sold down towards this $200 level, and then buyers came in to take back control and push prices up and close higher than where it had opened as well. So that's a good sign that this is a level we want to watch out for. Because why? Because previously prices had tested it when it was a resistance, broke above it, rebound from it, and right now we are back to this level as well. So I think there's nothing wrong to actually monitor the prices when it approach this level. But what is a little bit more worrying is that the 20 days moving average also started to point down as well. Yep. So with the near-term resistance, I would say about the 220 level at this point, we want to be a little bit more careful, because you see in the last few days also prices had also tested this 220 level, did not manage to break above it. We are being kept under it at this point. So if we were to turn on the trailing support and resistance, you could see that right here we see the trailing resistance as well. Prices previously was trading as it was trading higher and higher with a little bit of breathing room, it still broke below the trailing support. So I think right now at this point, a little bit of mixed signals. You want to wait for a little bit more confirmations. So if we want to turn on our buy and sell signals, we see two bearish signals right here, indicating that a little bit of selling pressure is still present. So I think, Alfred, if you are looking to get in for Amazon, I think set an alert this time. I think you should set an alert for, instead of the price, for the 1 GT buy signal. This is what maybe you can do as well. Get yourself a alert, the buy signal. If it appears, you will receive a notification. Come in, just check if prices are still holding above the $200 psychological level, if the 200 days moving average is still pointing up, and then as well as what is the sign, or where is the 20 days moving average currently pointing as well. Of course, if we get some bullish candlesticks like what we see here 3 days ago, another good sign as well. But as of right now, I do not think that you should actually rush to get in. Let's wait to see if prices stabilize and hold above these $200 to form a base first. Okay, a very quick one for Amazon. Z, can you bring us through the next one?
All right, thanks, Bervyn. Okay, so the next one will be from Audrey Ho. Audrey is asking, please advise if I should continue to hold STRL. So STRL would be this stock called Sterling Infrastructure. So Audrey, I'm not too sure when you actually bought this stock, right? But no worries. Let's take a look at the trend and what are some of the key levels that maybe perhaps you should actually take note and set some price alert on. All right. So for Sterling Infrastructure, we can see that, from March all the way to September, that's where we actually saw some sideways consolidation happening. Price has been trading within this range. The support will be near this 95 to about 100, right? 100 will be a psychological support, I would say. So this 95 to 100, I would say, is one of the key support that you might want to take note as well. All right, because that's where we saw buyers coming back in to push prices back up, right? And then that's where it continued to hit higher subsequently after it actually broke above this 140 resistance right over here, right? And then it went all the way up to a high of 200. So I would say 200, that's the next resistance level that perhaps you might want to take note as well, this 200 level, because this is where we saw, prices was actually stuck here for quite a couple of weeks, right? And then it was unable to break above this 200. Selling pressure came back in. We saw another 1 GT bearish signal, and then that's where prices started to come down. 20 days moving average starts to point down as well, and now the 20 days moving average, right, the short-term trend is actually below both of the longer-term trend. So when this actually happened, it is not so good, right? It's not so good because what we want is we want to see like this green above the red, above the blue. But right now, the green is actually below the red and the blue. So in terms of short-term trend wise, this stock is not so good. This stock is not so good. But because like what I mentioned, I don't know when you actually bought this stock, right? If you have bought this stock somewhere back here, your cost price probably is like $60 over, then perhaps if prices were to continue to rebound back up, right, and hit toward this 140 level, right, that's where you can consider to take some profits as well, right? There's nothing wrong to take profits near a resistance level. But if let's say you have bought somewhere near the high, right over here, around this 200 level, or maybe 195, right now, I believe you are actually holding on to this stock, and you are sitting on some losses lah. So the question is, should you continue to hold or not, right? If we take a look at the trend itself, 20 days moving average is actually below the longer term moving average and is continuing to point out. Plus, the 100 days moving average, the red line, is actually also starting to slope downwards as well. So that is not a good sign in terms of the trend, right? And like what I've mentioned earlier on, this 195 to 100, right, is one of the crucial support levels. So if prices is unable to hold and break below this crucial key support level, right, that's where we actually may see more weakness returning back to this counter. So that's where you might want to be a bit more careful lah. That's where you might want to consider to actually cut your losses as well. But if you're bought here, I mean, of course, I would suggest, like, if it could have been done, I would say cut losses around here, because it would have already broken this support level right over here, right back then. And there is also a 1 GT bearish signal coming out. But right now, because like what I mentioned, not too sure where you actually bought the stock, what's your average cost price. But these are the levels that perhaps you might want to continue to monitor. All right. And then have a firm trading plan as well, and to see if whether you actually need to cut your losses right now, or when it actually break the crucial key support level. All right. So that would be for Sterling Infrastructure. Joey, back to you.
All right, thank you so much. Let me go ahead to cover the next one. I think that's a very popular stock we have right over here. How about NVIDIA? All right, how about NVIDIA? Sorry, I can't really read Chinese, but 谢谢你. All right, NVIDIA, NVDA right here. This is $120. So I think before we talk about NVIDIA, I think there's some questions like from Pankao. You're asking about, is this indicator work on one day or we use in different times? Okay, I think you're asking about the period. So basically, this is like a swing to position trading. All right, it's not like a day trading and 5 minute charts or 10 minute charts. No, every single day, one candlestick bar? So the answer is yes. All right, it'll be for one day, one candlestick bar. Of course, if you want to change the time period, you can do it as well. But it's built mainly for a swing to position trading, and that would be like 1 day time bar. All right, I think we have another question as well, like from Alan, right? To use 1 hour chart, you can do it. I mean, weekly, combine it with weekly and stuff. But we are usually looking at a longer term, period. Not like a weekly, but just a 1 day, one candlestick bar, just to give us an idea on how that day is doing based on that particular candlestick bar. All right, Alan, so I hope that answers your question as well. It's a daily bar. Okay, so let me move on to NVIDIA. All right, NVIDIA right over here, 120.15. We saw quite I would say a close yesterday. And that would be, let's see, right? I would say that, let me go ahead to draw this resistance level for NVIDIA right now at about 151.50, right? 150. I think we have talked about this level quite a while back already. I think this is a very key psychological resistance for almost a year. We have neared it, and we came down. We neared it. We just cannot go above the 150. In fact, last week before we saw the sell down, all right, we actually neared it to near 144, 143, and then we came down again. Does it make sense? So I think 150, first of all, is a psychological resistance level, right? It's like any full whole number, 200, 100, 150, that kind of thing, right? That's why we give a bit of a weight to it as well, all right? And of course, we have seen it touch a couple of times, and not just touch, but touch, and then you see bearish candlestick coming out. Look at it. It's a pretty bearish Marubozu candle coming out, a bearish spinning top coming out. So all that this means that this 150 is a bit hard to cross lah. I'm not saying cannot lah, but a bit hard to cross for now. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 1 more month, 2 more months, right? Nobody knows, but we might still see selling as we approach there, all right? But so it's hard to cross, right? But one day, if we really cross, it's hard, right? But if we can really still cross it, right? And that's a different story. That means we are like free. But, if we go to like 15 something, 155, 160 or above it, right? That is where we could be another phase up, all right? But if we are still below it, then we are pretty much still, I would say, consolidating. Okay, so let's take a look at where could the potential support level be. Well, I would say, of course, we have this 100. 100 would be a psychological support level. That was pretty much the resistance in 2024. Last year, before we broke above it, came back down, respected the same resistance, psychological horizontal support, not 1 time, but 2 times. So of course, this will be where I think some really good bargain hunting can come back, right? In 100 to 110, and anything in this range. If I can just give you a range right over here, that would be where we might see some bargain hunting right over here, because that's where we have rebounded in August and in September, right over here. So of course, if you ask me, then wait, go back down to like 110 or 105 for sure. Nobody's sure about that, right? Nobody can predict that you will go down to 102 or 105 or 110. Nobody will know. But what I know, based on what we see from the chart, is that if it does hit here, right? If it does hit to these zones right over here, well, because of what we have seen previously, bullish candles coming out, and then we saw rebound from this zone. If we do hit that, there could be some good bargain hunting or buying pressure coming out there. It could be maybe not even 110. It could be 105. It could be maybe 115. All right, and that's where we could see some bargain hunting. All right, so that's where you want to watch out. I think the range is maybe 100 to 110, being kind of like the support zone, all the way to a key 150 as the resistance level. So if you ask me in the short term, can we still see weakness? I would say yes, a bit of weakness in the short term. Look at this, right? I think yesterday it sold off by about more than 6-7%. Pretty bearish candlestick. This is what we call like a bearish Marubozu pattern. All right, and opens high, close all the way down, red in color. Let me show you what I mean. There is no wicks. What do I mean? Wicks are like the high of the day and the low of the day. Look at this. All these red candles, there's some wick, right? High, upper wick, lower wick, or upper shadow, lower shadow. But for yesterday bar, there's no vertical line at the top and there's no vertical line at the bottom, right? What does that mean? It means there's no high and there's no low. The high is the opening price, the low is the closing price. Does it make sense? So it pretty much opened, and then the sellers were in control, and then sell all the way down and close right at the day low. Does it make sense? So would that be bearish? That would be definitely more bearish, because it just shows that sellers are pretty much in control throughout the day. All right. So yeah, if you ask me, based on this candlestick bar, based on the short-term trend, based on the green line also starting to point down, we could see some short-term weakness. As I say, to where? To the 100, to 110, to 115, around that zone. Hopefully, we see some bargain hunting and some bullish candles coming back. And if I can quickly turn on the signals right over here, pump, you could see that, well, we actually had a couple of bearish signals coming. Look at this, 1, 2. I think, in fact, like that was not yesterday. That was like maybe on the Tuesday, right? Tuesday, we got a bearish signal, and then, we started to sell down last night, all right? So we got some bearish signals coming out. So if you ask me, definitely some weakness in the short term, all right? Hopefully, we see some good support coming in from 100 to 110, maybe to 120 as well. All right, so that would be for NVIDIA, NVDA. Okay, Bervyn, going to cover the next US stock.
Thanks, Joey. Okay, the next one I want to cover is this. Hedy is asking BlackBerry to buy or not. Okay, so BlackBerry. Okay, I think BlackBerry is not too bad at this point. What I'd like to see here is actually the 100 days moving average had crossed above the 200 days moving average early in January as well. Of course, we have the 20 days moving average sloping up as well, which is a good sign, which is still a sign that buyers are in control in the nearer term, at least to say. And in the long term, we have a reversal. I mean, this was, if you look back into the past, prices had previously sold down for about a year, consolidated for about few months, and finally we are able to see some strength resume in the counter as well. So that's a good sign. But could this be a longer term reversal play? I think it's still a bit too early to say as well. But I think if you are positioning yourself, I think the support level would be just around the $4.50 level. I think consolidated a little while below it, finally breaking above, and then approaching the $6 psychological level. So if we were to just look back slightly, just extend out this line for you, you could see that in the past, I mean, this was drawing back all the way to 2023 already. This $4.50 was a key level that was tested a few times before it was broken. Prices went close to it once again, and then we saw it sell back down again. So right now we are perhaps maybe heading back towards this level once again. So I would say this would be a good support zone if you are looking to buy. But what you want to actually do perhaps is also to set a price alert to alert yourself if prices are in the perhaps maybe the 450 to 460 level. That's when you can actually see if the trend lines are still in order or still intact for you to get in. So if we were to turn on the buy and sell signal, you can see that right here we have a bearish signal that had actually came out. Why did this signal came out? It was because that the trailing support as prices were heading up was broken yesterday. As well. Then if we are able to see prices rebound from this 450 level, maybe that's when we can see a new 1 GT signal come out again once more, and then prices start to head back towards this $6 level. So if this $6 level were to give way, I think you could say upside towards the $7 level firstly, before heading even higher. Hard to say at this point, but what we want to see is this $6 level giving way first. I think that's a very, very quick analysis for BlackBerry. I think Z, can you bring us through the next stock?
All right, thanks, Bervyn. Okay, so I was just scrolling the comments, right? I think the very first comment was actually by Rainy, and it's asking about AVGO. Okay, let me just share my screen. Okay, so for AVGO, that will be Broadcom, right? Broadcom. Yesterday we saw a super long red bearish candlestick, but let's take a look at the trend and the bigger picture. All right. So in terms of the bigger picture, right, we can see that the longer term uptrend. If you realize, we always talk about the trend first. We always look at the trend, which is the moving average, right? The longer term uptrend, red and the blue line are still heading up, right? Looking good. Longer term uptrend intact, right? Both are still heading up. Shorter term trend, 20 days moving average, green line, is kind of like let me just zoom in. Okay, it's like down, sideways, then down a bit, sideways. Not sure if it will continue this trajectory, like it goes down, sideways, I'm not sure. But we can continue to monitor, especially the short-term trend, to see whether, you know, is there some short-term strength coming back into this counter, like especially when we see that, you know, the 20 days moving average is flattening out. That is a potential sign for you to monitor it, right? Because it could turn back up, correct? Okay, so in terms of the support level, previously, from somewhere from June all the way to December, this level, right, at about 185, this level right over here, is where we actually saw price testing this level multiple times, right, over here. At least 4 times, like at least 4 times. And that's where we actually also see selling pressure coming back in. You know, every time it nearly pushed prices back down, every time it nearly came back down, every time it nearly came back down again, right? And this, I would say, would be one. Previously it was actually a resistance level, right? And then it turned to become a support. Why? Because price actually broke above it and it still managed to hold above it as of now, right? Price now is yesterday closed at 197. It's still holding above this 185 support level, right? And we also actually see 1GT bearish signal when it actually broke above it, right? And it reaches this 250 resistance level. That's where we start to see selling pressure coming back in again, unable to break above it. And we also recently saw a 1GT bearish signal coming out. So if I were to turn on the trailing support and resistance, very clearly we can see price is actually trading below the trailing resistance level, which is this red line right over here. So I would say for Broadcom, right, one of the potential levels that or the potential zones, right, that you may consider or set some price alert will be near this support level right over here, which is, you know, near the 185 to maybe about 190, right? But provided that price can continue to hold above this level to make sure that the longer term uptrend is actually intact. All right, so this would be one of the levels that maybe you can consider to actually take note of, to potentially accumulate on the dips. All right, and then the resistance level to perhaps take some partial profits or to take full profits will be near this 250 resistance level right over here. All right, so that will be a quick one for Broadcom. Passing the time back over to Joey.
All right, thank you so much, Dee. Let me go ahead to share my screen and let's take a look at the next stock. I think that's asked by Sebastian, right? Sebastian, I hope you're still here. I was like just scrolling through all the comments and make sure we try to cover those that were asked right at the beginning. All right, so thank you so much for joining us to now. All right, I think we still have more than 100 of you still over here. Thank you so much, guys. So let me go ahead to cover what we call the next stock, and that will be EC, right? The code is EC. The name is Eco Petrol. Never heard of this stock before. To be honest, never heard of this stock before. But let's take a look at the chart right now to see what it says. Hopefully, Sebastian, you're still here. If you're still here, just type a hi, all right, so that hopefully we are going to cover your stock, right? Okay, so this is Eco Petrol. You can see that I would say it looks a little bit volatile. We got some bearish signals from my 1GT, the one good trend indicator. All right, look at this right over here, all the way down. So when we get bearish signals, and the short-term trend starts to turn down, we obviously don't want to rush to get in. All right, you can see that that's where we sold down by, I would say, 32%, right? 32% in about 3-4 months. All right, and over the past few months, since December, in November, we got the bullish signals went sideways a bit, but I think, let's see, I think somewhere over here in January, I think that was where we got this horizontal resistance level right up here. So we were like trading below this $8.50, right? Came down, and finally, right, we broke above the 850. Yeah, we got two bullish signals coming out. And if I can quickly turn on what we call the trailing support line. So once we got a bullish signal, you can see we turn on the trailing support. Let me just remove this red line. So you can see that this trailing support level has been since January for about almost 2 months now. It's been going up, following as prices were to move higher. Resistance wise, I would say $11. $11. Look at this, right? That was pretty much, I think, where we saw a bit of a support. We broke now. So now $11 would be a resistance level. So you can see that we are still holding above the trailing support line. In fact, I would say this trailing support is just around the 990, 988. We're very close it, right? I'm not too sure whether tonight it might go below it, but as I say, this trailing support give it space to move up. And yeah, it has been hovering above it since for about 2 months. But if we were to go below the 990 or even 985 or 980, I think we may start to see a bit of weakness. I mean, there could be some selling coming back. So it depends on where you buy, or it depends on where you buy. I think if you're vested, like, you know, you got in at $8 or $8.20 and stuff. I mean, now it's 9 plus, you are definitely sitting on some profit. So if it does break what we call like a level, you know, below the trailing support, we normally encourage you to just, you know, take some profit, get out. You don't want to just hold it all the way back down. Does it make sense? All right. So I hope that helps, Sebastian. All right. We got a bullish signal. If we go below the trailing support line, we may have a bearish signal coming out. We would have a bearish signal coming out, I would say, right? And then that's where you might want to think about, you know, getting out, taking some profits, right, and reducing your exposure. All right. So let me pass on the mic back to Bervyn to cover the next US stock.
Thanks, Joey. Okay, so the next one, maybe I'll cover this IBM. So this IBM, International Business Machines. Oh, let's see. I think trend-wise, I think it's still looking pretty good to me. I think the 20 days moving average rebounded from the 100 days moving average couple of times already. So it's still looking good at that point. The 100 days and 200 days moving average still pointing up. And of course, the 20 days moving average is still very firmly, you know, very sharp point up as well. So far so good, I would say, for IBM, with the immediate support right around the 250 level. I think this gap up was on the same day as earnings, so I believe earnings was good for IBM as well. So not too bad. I would say the nearer term resistance would be around the 270 level, as prices came close to it twice already before, you know, selling down again. So the support zone would definitely be above this 250 area, 250 to 255 area. So right now we are trading very close to the support zone as well, or the buy zone, or some would call it as well. So if we were to turn on our trailing support and resistance right here, you could see that, you know, after this gap up, there was a trailing support, and this trailing support is still intact at this point, giving the stock some space to breathe as well, prices some space to breathe as well, where's a good sign. And furthermore, we are in the buy zone at this point. So if you're looking to buy, I think, yeah, perhaps maybe tonight upon market open, you can start to monitor this counter as well to see if prices start to rebound from this 250 back towards the 270 area as well. So if this 270 area gives way, or this 270 level gives way, sorry, where could we see the next upside to? I would say the next upside, if I would just do a simple projection right here, about the 290 level, So let's see how many or what signals currently we have. Well, right now we have a 1 GT bullish signal that is still pretty much valid since the 30th of January. And perhaps if prices were to break above this 270 level, that's when maybe we could see another 1 GT bullish signal appear right here, and then prices start to head up as well. So I think SL, if you're asking what to do for IBM, I think firstly, monitor when the market opens tonight. If you're looking to get in, maybe this is your opportunity to get in. Secondly, if you're able to, you can set some technical alerts for the 1 GT Pro indicator as well. So then that's where you can be notified when you have another 1 GT bullish signal that appears and gives you further confirmation as well. All right, very, very quick one for IBM. Z.
All right, thanks, Bervyn. Okay, so I think Ottoman Raman is asking about PayPal, right? What about PayPal? Now time to buy. Okay, let me share my screen. So for PayPal, we can see that, 2024, very clearly it's kind of like just trading sideways, right? And then it broke above, and now we are actually here. So when it was trading sideways, it was trading within a range, right? And the range is actually somewhere around this level right over here, which is about 56, which is a support. And then the resistance back then is around this 68 level, right? Because you can see that it was tested, in fact, multiple times, right? Multiple times, and eventually it broke above it. Selling pressure came back, right, to retest this level, but still managed to hold above it before rebounding higher. Okay, so as of now, I would say this 68, right, previously was a resistance, but now it has actually turned to become a support, right? Because price is actually above this 68. But in terms of the trend wise, if we take a look at the 20 days moving average, this green line here, it is very clearly that this green line is actually pointing down, and in fact is actually pointing down quite steeply, right? And there is actually no signs of it, like, you know, flattening out yet. It's still pointing down quite steeply. In terms of the longer term trend, I would say it's still looking decent. At least it haven't pointed down yet. It's just moving sideways. It haven't pointed down yet. So I would say for now, one of the very crucial level that maybe you want to take note of would be this level right over here, which is the 68. Previously was a resistance, remember, and now it's actually a support level. So if price is actually able to hold above this 68 level, great, right? If it's able to hold above this 68 level, great. And what we want to see is this 20 days moving average start to head sideways first. But if price is unable to hold above this and break below this level, what can we potentially expect to see? What we can potentially see is that price may go back to this trading range right over here within this 58 to 68 level. Okay, so plus the fact that, you know, we actually saw two 1GT bearish signal coming out as of now. So there is also no 1GT bullish signal, right? So we want to have more confirmation, especially when we are thinking of buying. So I would say for now, don't rush in to buy. Don't rush in to buy yet. Make sure to monitor this level right over here to see if price is actually able to hold above this level first or not. Because you can potentially buy here, yes, but the thing is that I'm not sure if price is able to hold. It might continue to go down and trade within this consolidation range, right? So that would be for PayPal. I will pass the time back to Joey for the next US stock.
All right, thank you so much, Z. So guys, I think we have gone on for almost 2 hours now. We have covered a total of like 18 stocks already, right? So let me just go ahead to just do a quick run through of what were the stocks that we have covered so far. All right, before I think we'll move on to the bonus stock. So remember, right at the beginning, right, I mentioned that we'll go ahead to cover the stocks that you guys were asking about, and after that, we will go ahead to cover. Each of us will share one stock that we like at the end. So there's 3 of us here, so obviously there'll be 3 US stocks that we share with you, and you could potentially put it in your watch list for maybe even more upside. So before I do that, let me go to cover all the stocks. So in case you miss any of the stocks, right, and you wanted a quick analysis on it as well, watch the replay after the live session. It can be on YouTube as well. So make sure you hit the subscribe, like button, follow, so that when we go live, you will be alerted when the replay is ready. You can go ahead to check it out as well faster. All right. So the first stock that we covered was Alibaba, Palantir, Sophie, Costco, NNE. We have number 6, Google, GOOGL. Number 7, C Limited, Tesla, very popular stock. Next one, PANW, Palo Alto Networks. We have TSM, Amazon, STRL, Sterling Infrastructure, right? And of course, we have NVIDIA, NVDA. That's number 13. Number 14, BlackBerry. Number 15, we have Broadcom, AVGO. And number 16, I covered Eco Petrol. Bervyn did number 17, IBM. And finally, number 18, right? PayPal. And that was what Z actually covered, right? So very good, guys. How many of you want us to share with you guys like this type 3 in the chat? If you want us to share with you maybe 3 top US stocks that you could put in your watch. This is type 3. Maybe if like more than 30 of you typing 3, then we might want to cover it. Just type 3, guys, in the chat. Let me know. Type 3 in the chat. If you want us to share with you 3 top US stocks. All right. Let's see. Okay, I think we have some of you having questions like Alan, right? One GT able to combine, use AI to auto execute trade. It can be automated without. So basically, guys, I think we talk about this whole entire one good trend strategy, right? Me, Bervyn and Zee, we give you a quick analysis, and of course, we turn on the one GT, the one good trend pro indicator, whereby in the matter of seconds, pump, all right, it comes up with bullish and bearish signals. So it alerts you on when to get in and get out. It doesn't just automatically go and buy and sell for you. No, all right. It doesn't auto execute the trade. No, all right. Essentially, is where you could turn it on. You could set an alert as well. I mean, what you could do is just type the name like what we did. You type the name and then you turn it on and then it comes on. All right. That's what you could do. Or you could also set an alert on it such that if there are any bullish signals or bearish signals coming out, then you could be alerted as well. And then you can go and sell or do something. Does it make sense? So that's how it works. So, Alan, I hope that answers your question. All right. It doesn't just automatically go and buy and sell for you. No. All right. It's essentially to alert you and then you know what to do, whether to buy or to sell. So I hope that makes sense to you. All right. And thank you so much, Eugene, 3. I think all of you won all the 3 stocks: Chi Leong, Suber, Palvesh, Wilson, Joseph, Grace. All right. A lot of 3s here. Thank you so much for joining us all the way to here. All right, so let me go ahead and share with you guys the very first bonus stock. So just to be clear, guys, as I said, if you want to find out a bit more on like the entire strategy, or perhaps how you could have an indicator like this, all right, to give you an opinion in seconds, and you know, when you see a bearish signal, you probably don't want to buy. I think we talked about it a few times, right? Or maybe when to get in when you see a bullish signal, right? Attend one of those free web class, all right? So I'll just place the link in the chat again. Click on the link, all right? Click on the link, register for web class. Once you click on the link, you will pretty much end up on this page right over here, right over here. There'll be this page, right? You can read about it, all right? How to blah, blah, blah. There's a free webinar. I think we have one on the 4th of March on Tuesday, all right? Yeah, next Tuesday, 7:30, 9:30 p.m. You can scroll down, all right? This is what we'll be covering. Secret number 1, why trend trading is one of the simplest strategy in 2025. The 2 techniques that we share with you guys, and how do we actually scan the market in under 5 seconds, right? To just pull out the top 1% of stocks. So this is the page, right? Click on the link, and that's where you will be directed to register for this webinar, all right? And that's where I will share with you guys a bit more. Does it make sense? All right, so let's go ahead to move on to the very first bonus stock I'd like to share with you, and that would be this company called Progressive Corporation. The code is PGR. All right, one of the companies in the US that is in the financial industry. They're doing like insurance as well. All right, and I would say very, very stable uptrend. It has been now, portfolio and watch this since last year. And you can see right over here, a couple of bullish signals, another one here, all right, in August as well, July last year, bullish signals, it starts going up. And in fact, over the past 2-3 months in December, well, we actually saw a bearish signal coming out. Look at this, right? A bearish signal. Well, it started to sell down a bit, right? From like 260 all the way to like 240. Some support came back. We found some bargain hunting, I would say maybe near this support at around the 230. Look at this, right? So 230 was where we neared it, and we rebounded once. All right, same thing, we neared it and we rebounded again. But when it rebounded, we got more confirmations coming in. All right, 2 bullish signals came in. Look at this, the green line that was pointing down, flattened out, also started to point up. Is it pointing up now? Yes, it is still pointing up. So we got a couple of confirmations whereby the short-term trend has reversed back up. 2 bullish signals coming out, and it starts pushing higher. I mean, it's gone up a bit already, all right? But I think it still looks good. It still looks good. And of course, look at the long-term trend. The long-term trend will be the red and the blue line. So I think long-term trend should be quite easy for all of you to see. The red line, 100 days moving average, is above the blue line, the 200 days moving average. And both of them have been pointing up since last year, all right? Pretty easy to see, right? Of course, the green has been moving up and down as we see some profit taking along the way. But right now, the green 20 days moving average line has started to point up, right? So looks pretty good. Let me go to see, okay, let's maybe remove all the lines. I would say that maybe we might have found some support right over here, maybe around the 265 to 260. You can see that is pretty much where we were in terms of the high. We broke above the resistance. So 260 to 265 could be where we might see some support coming back again, right? In fact, we push even higher. And if I could quickly turn on what we call the trailing support line. Let me turn it on. Pump. You can see that, yeah, we got this trailing support line that actually popped up when we got the first bullish signal. You can see as we are moving up, this green trailing support line follows it. All right, are we above the trailing support? The answer is yes. All right, we're still above it. Why? Because it follows it, it goes up, it gives space. There's still some space, right? I mean, below the price towards the trailing support. All right, so yeah, it still looks quite okay. I think if you can hold above that 265 or 260, still looks okay. If you stay above the trailing support that accounts for the space given, still okay as well. All right, so I think not too bad. This one of the stock you could put in your watch list. If we were to break the 280 resistance level, I think 280 would be a very key psychological resistance as well. Or I think in the past 3 days, we are like still hovering below it. If you can break the 280, great. Targets could be revised, maybe the 290 to 300. I think that's where more upside momentum can come back. All right, and that would be my first bonus stock I'll share with you, Progressive Corporation. Right, the code is PGR. All right, and yes, let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover his bonus stock that he'd like to share with you. Go ahead, Bervyn.
Thanks, Joey. Okay, so for everybody that have been following us for every US AMAS, I think you would know that my favorite stock would be still the same, still on my watch list. One stock that I've been consistently monitoring, still Visa. Visa Inc. The code is V. The stock code is V as well. So very clearly you can see that, I mean, the uptrend had continued where, previously when the uptrend has started, we actually saw some buying pressure come in as and when prices cross their individual support levels as well. So I think that is a good sign that prices are not just going higher and higher and higher without consolidation, but it is actually consolidating a little bit, then heading higher, consolidating a little bit before heading higher as well. So right now, if we were to zoom in, I would say the nearer term support or the temporary support would be around this 345 to 350 level. As you can see, as prices approach this level, we see a little bit of a bullish candlesticks had appeared as well. Prices have consolidated above this level since early February, and as of yesterday, we have tested the 360 level as well. But we did not manage to break above it. We actually saw a little bit of selling come back, but we are still seeing prices, still very bullish, or buyers still very bullish about it. Prices did not close lower than it's open. It actually had closed higher as well. So where would the next upside be? So just taking the key support levels, I would say the next key resistance level will be around the $400 level if this resistance finally gives way. There is about 10 to 11% upside, so still pretty good upside as of now. So if we were to let me just turn on this trailing support, so you can see that this trailing support is just slowly, gradually following the stock prices at this point, and it is around the 340 level as of now, just below our 350 temporary support that I have drawn. So that would be my potential new entry zone as well, closer to this 350 temporary support level. And the next, I would say the next more aggressive entry would be above the 360 level, especially where if prices are able to hold above this level. So I have set some alerts to actually let me know when prices finally break above this 360 level as well. So if I were to turn on my 1GT signals, you could see that the most recent signal was sometime in October of last year, and it has continued to play out. So if I were to just turn on just let me do this. Okay, so there was about a 25% upside since that signal, and we do not see any new signals since then. But perhaps when prices finally break above this 360 level, we could see another 1GT signal finally appear, and then we can ride it up to the $400 psychological resistance. So very clearly, I'm still very bullish about Visa, and I will still continue to be unless there's any changes in the company fundamentally or technically. But right now, still looking good as well. So that is my bonus stock. Z, can you bring us through your bonus stock?
All right, thanks, Bervyn. Okay, so my bonus stock that I will be sharing today will be this stock called Quest Diagnostic, and the code is DGX. So this Quest Diagnostic, right, for those who do not really know about it, it's actually in the healthcare services, and it's actually considered a large cap company lah. You see the market cap is 19 billion. Anything above 10 billion, that's considered large cap. All right, and basically in summary, what they do is that they do diagnostic testing. So it's related to like hospitals, clinics and things like that. Okay, so let me share with you why this stock is actually in my watch list. All right, so first thing first, let's take a look at the trend. Okay, so starting 2024, we see it's kind of like a bit boring, right? Because the 100 days and 200 days moving averages going sideways, not much action lah. And then the 20 days moving average doesn't really look that enticing as well. Only until somewhere in April, that's where we start to see some short-term strength coming back in, right? That's where we see the 20 days moving average starts to point up, right? And prices also started to go up as well. But that's where the second confirmation comes when the longer term moving average, the red and the blue line, somewhere in June and July, we can see that it started to slope up gently as well, right? It started to slope up gently, and prices continue to head all the way up to this level here, this 165 level right over here, where we actually saw some selling pressure come back in, right? Push price back down, but very quickly, the 20 days moving average, the red line, the green line go sideways and start to point back up again. And where we are at right now, we are seeing all three moving averages heading in the same direction, and all of them are going up, right? So I would say that that is a good thing in terms of, if let's say we are just purely looking at the trend. Okay, so the next thing, let me just turn on this buy and sell signal to have a look as well. So like what I've mentioned earlier on, right, when the 20 days moving average back in April or May, that's where we actually see some short-term strength coming back in. Then with the confirmation of the longer-term trend, we actually see quite a number of 1 GT bullish signal coming out right over here. But I mean, of course, in between there's some selling pressure. We also still see some 1 GT bearish signal, right? But I want to highlight this key level, which is the 164.65 level. Why? Because if we take a look at this was actually one of the high back in 2022. So can you imagine, this level was actually being kept for 3 years, and it has recently just broken above it, and it's still holding above it now with all the moving averages still pointing up, right? I mean, over the past 2 days, we actually see some pullback happening, right? But what I want to make sure and what I want to set right is a price alert right over here near this support zone level, where you can potentially consider to accumulate on the dips when it is near the support zone, right? Because all the moving averages are still looking great. As long as price is actually able to hold above this key level, right, this key support level, right, of about 165, I would say that the uptrend for this counter is definitely still intact. All right, and in terms of, okay, where the targets are going to be, or where are we looking at, right, in terms of the targets, we can see that, over the past months, right, since like December, we actually saw this level right over here where we saw buying pressure actually coming back to support the price, right? And because now price is actually, it has broken above the all-time high and is currently at the all-time high. So where should the target be, right? Where are we looking to maybe potentially take some profits if price continue to head up? So what we can potentially do is to do a simple projection like this based on the range, and we can project it up right over here. So I would say that if price continue to head up, right, one of the levels that maybe you can consider to take some partial profits will be around this 180 to about 181. So I would say 180, actually that would be kind of like a psychological resistance, right, where some selling pressure can come back again. So for this counter, definitely I would want to set a price alert right over here. Let's just do it quickly. Price somewhere around this 165, 166, right? So maybe I can put like 166.50, right? If prices were to retrace back towards this level right over here, then that's where I can consider to actually accumulate on the dips. But of course, do remember to set your stop loss as well. Okay, so the stop loss, definitely you want to set slightly below the support level right over here to protect your downside. All right, so that would be DGX Quest Diagnostic, which I think recently I've been watching this quite a bit, and it has been in my watch list. So if you do like this stock and you think that there is some potential in this, maybe you can consider to add this in your watch list as well, and to also monitor this stock. All right, so that would be the bonus stock from me. I will pass back the time over to Joey to close off today's session.
All right, thank you so much. All right, Zee and Bervyn. So, guys, the 3 bonus stock would be the first one, Progressive Corporation, PGR, Visa by Bervyn, V. All right, the code is V, and of course we have Quest Diagnostic. The code is DGX. Right. So, how many of you have found value in today's session? This type of V, guys, type of V for value. If you have found value so far in today's session, we have covered your US stocks, and also at the end, you got some value out of the watch list stocks that, bonus stocks that we have shared with you. Just type V for value. Let me know. Hopefully, you guys got some value. Let me see. Palvesh, hi, value. Thank you so much for joining us. Some of you are very familiar faces. Thank you so much for the support as well. Some of you are clients of mine in Philips Securities as well. Thank you so much, Heidi, as well. Hi, Subri, Francis, Catherine, value, Sanjay, value as well. Awesome, guys. So, by the way, guys, I want to share with you, right, for those of you who have been following us, I mean, I talk about, if you want to find a bit more on like the strategy, how perhaps you could have an indicator like this to guide you when to buy and sell, right? Attend one of those free webinars. I'll just place the link in the chat one more time. And another thing I want to add is that, if you would like to get some of our top ideas, right, some of our top ideas by WhatsApp live, like, you know, live WhatsApp, right? Daily, on a daily basis, some of our updates, some of our top Singapore stocks. So I know today we're talking about US stocks, agree, right? But if you want to get some of our top Singapore stocks ideas live for free, daily, yes, that's how perhaps you could join us and become a VIP client of mine in Phillip Securities for free. All right, you do not need to pay anything more. All right, so I'm not too sure. I mean, some of you, I think a lot of you are actually clients of mine in Phillip Securities. Some of you might be just scrolling through YouTube and Facebook. But if you are trading, I mean, you need a trading account, right? To buy some stocks, you need a trading account, right? So if you have a trading account and you don't get any service from your own broker, you know, it's just like a platform, a hotline, an app, nobody really care about you or send you anything or send you any ideas or video or training or WhatsApp or nothing, then I think you might want to check it out. All right, come on board as a VIP client of mine in Phillip Securities for free, no additional cost. The link is right in the chat, and that is how you could be updated much faster. Does it make sense? All right, so that is the link, especially for those of you who are not yet a VIP client of ours in Phillip Securities. All right, so yes, I think that would be it. That would be, and today will be the US market. As say next Friday, we will talk about the Singapore market again, right? Covering the Singapore stocks that you guys are asking about. So do join us in the next AMAS live session next Friday, and I think that would be on the 7th of March next Friday, right? So I'll just place the link in the chat as well. So join us, put a notification. So when we go live next Friday covering the Singapore market, the Singapore stocks, that is where you could join us as well. All right. So yes, I think that should be it. We have come to the end of today's session. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Bervyn and Zee, anything to add?
Thanks, everyone. Hope to see everyone here back again next week that we cover the Singapore market. All right. Please help us to like and, of course, subscribe so you receive the notification as well, so we can give more value to more people as well. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have
Thank
a
you.
good Friday.
Thanks, everyone. Okay, have a good weekend. We'll see you guys next Friday. Join us, and we look forward to add more value to you. All right. Bye, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.